Welcome back to the Neshoba Valley Chamber Business Buzz podcast. My name is Melissa Federoff. I'm the president and CEO of the Neshoba Valley Chamber. Today, I am joined by Tony Shaw of Toreku Tractor, located right in Air at the Rotary. Local business that has been helping our community tackle big jobs with the right tools, machines, and know-how. For how many years now?
43.
43. So today we're going to talk about the history of Toreku Tractor and how Tony stays on top of an evolving equipment market and the importance of customer service in building long-term relationships.
Yep.
So Tony, tell us, what is the story behind Toreku Tractor? How'd you get started?
So the story behind Toreku Tractor is I got out of high school and I worked for a contractor for a year in the construction business. And I had always tinkered with equipment, and I was a pretty good mechanic, and in the construction business they needed a mechanic, so I did a lot there. And then I decided to go out on my own rather than work for somebody else. So I started Toreku Tractor in 1977. It was actually Tony's repair service back then. And I repaired anything that somebody brought in and worked on it. And I did everything from lawnmowers to farm tractors. Always had kind of a agricultural background. I grew up on a family farm, kind of a hobby farm, not a real farm, but a hobby type farm. So I enjoy that. I wanted to get into the equipment that I used for all that kind of thing. So, I get into landscaping equipment, farm equipment, and some construction equipment. And then as the years went on, we took on a few lines. The first line I took on in 1978 was Echo. I've carried Echo products for the 40-some years now that I've been in business. Been a great company, great equipment to work with. And then in 1989, we picked up Husqvarna, and we also picked up Kubota. Two top lines in their fields. Husqvarna makes chainsaws and trimmers and blowers and tractors and things. And then Kubota, of course, they build all kinds of four-wheel drive tractors and equipment to do all kinds of farming work and construction work and landscaping work for your yards. And when we did that, we decided that we had to incorporate, because Tony's repair service was, when people visualized Tony's repair service, they saw a garage and somebody's kid working in somebody's back garage, and that's what I was. That's where I started from. Mm-hmm. Don't deny that. But at that point in time, we were a little bit more than that. We were a sales company, we were a service company, and we did a lot. So we had to make up a name, and my last name is Shaw, and there's already a Shaw's Market. I was thinking about Kubota of Harvard, because we were originally in Harvard, but Kubota wouldn't let us use their name in the thing. So then we said, well, we got to do something. So I said something catchy would be Tony's Repair Kubota. So we took T.O. out of Tony's, R.E. out of Repair, and then K.U. out of Kubota. So Toreku Tractor is Tony's Repair Kubota.
I love it.
Yeah, that's kind of cool. We did have to check in a bunch of different languages to see if it meant anything, and it does not. Toro is bull, but there was nothing for KU, so basically Toreku was a good name, so it's worked out well.
It fits. Yeah. It fits. I love it. I love it. So how has, in all of those years that you've been around, how has business changed?
Well, it's changed quite a bit. When I first started in business, it was a situation where if you had a piece of equipment, it was something that you treasured, and you'd pay whatever it would to fix it, and you'd do whatever it took to fix equipment. And through the years, we've serviced equipment and kept everything going, but equipment has started to get easier and easier to buy. A lot of the smaller equipment, like the chainsaws and trimmers and things like that, have all gone to the Home Depots of the world and that kind of thing. So a lot of that stuff has gone by the wayside. Lawnmowers have gotten easy to get, and the prices have gotten cheaper. The funny thing was we used to sell a lawn tractor back in the 80s for $2,100, $2,200, and we sell one right now that's $25.99. So since the 80s all the way till 2025, there's only a $500 price difference in some of the equipment that we've sold. So the prices held quite a bit. The equipment got cheaper. They weren't quite as nice a piece of equipment, but nobody cared about it anymore. And equipment is very disposable now. It's kind of like appliances. You run them for 10 years and you throw them away. And so our smaller equipment has gotten like that. And that's one of the things that has changed. We don't sell as much smaller equipment anymore as we used to. Mm-hmm. What's really taken over is the four-wheel drive diesel market. We sell a lot of Kubota tractors. The nice thing about them is you can do anything you want with them. You can do anything from mow your lawn, snow blow your driveway, to dig out your next cellar hole. do drainage, do landscaping. They're expandable to do anything. So Kubota has really been a good company to work with and develop with over the years. In 1989, when we took them on, they were a very small company. We took in four-wheel drive tractors at the start, and we're worried about how we were going to sell them and what we are going to do. And now, we sell 4 a week, and
Wow.
it's just an amazing thing. It's really changed a lot over the years.
Yeah. Wow. That's amazing. Talking about knowing your customers, what do you do to understand customer needs before recommending equipment?
So one of the things, you have to understand what the equipment will do and what you can get accomplished with it before you can actually consult with a customer and tell them. So over the years, I've done a lot of the landscaping. I built my own house and did a lot of the construction work to build my house. And then over the years, I've been in the farm business. I cut and sell hay now, so I run the equipment to bale hay for the horse farmers.
Mm-hmm.
And then I cut my own trees. I cut my own firewood. I use all the equipment. So the first thing that I think is important is know that myself and my guys all use this equipment. So if you walk into Toreku Tractor, you're going to find somebody that's actually run this equipment, done a job with it, continuing to do jobs with it all the time. So yes, that's where we start out with. We start out knowing the piece of equipment, what it'll do. And then when a customer walks in our door, they come in and they say, well, we're thinking about a tractor. And one of the first things I say is, what do you get for projects? They kind of say, oh, well, I just want a tractor. Well, okay, but what do you really want to do with it? Well, I got this backyard with a big, bump in the back. I want to carve it down. I got a hill out back I want to dig out, or I have some trees I want to cut down. So you start listening to the customer and finding out what they want to do. So you guide them to a piece of equipment that's going to get that accomplished. If I, have a horse farm come in and they're looking for a tractor to use, ask them what they're going to use it for, and they say, well, if we're going to take care of our manure projects, mow our fields, and that kind of thing, then you recommend a tractor that's the right size to do those projects. If they come in and say, I'm a homeowner, I just want to dig a little bit of dirt in the backyard, I want to mow my lawn, we've got a tractor that fits that bill. And if they come in and they say, I've got a 500-foot driveway and I need to clear snow in the wintertime, we have a tractor that does that and also does all the other projects in the yard.
Nice.
So we just kind of guide them in the right direction. And then, the other thing we do is we have product lines that complement the Kubota tractors as well. So the Echo product is all chainsaws, trimmers, leaf blowers, and that kind of thing. So we can talk to them about what they need to get their project done with the small equipment too. So you're gonna dig something out, but then you gotta grade it, you gotta level it, you gotta seed it down, and you have to mow it afterwards, and you have to trim it, and you have to blow the leaves off it. So we have all the equipment to do that as well.
Perfect. So talking about equipment and technology constantly changing, how do you keep up with all of the innovative parts and pieces and equipment that comes out?
We're bombarded, by companies trying to sell us things. So you always have salesmen coming in or calling you or sending you information on the phone. But every 2 years we go down to the Equipment Expo in Louisville.
Nice.
And in Louisville they put up the big exposition center with everything. I mean, anybody in the power equipment business or the equipment field is there. So you get to go down, and I like to go down and I work with everybody and look at the equipment and see what the new technologies are that are coming out. The big thing now is coming out is electric. Things are coming out with electric power and battery power. And quite honestly, they're superior to gas-powered equipment. It's in some applications. I mean, when you need raw horsepower, there's nothing like a gas engine or a diesel engine. But if you need consistency and power, but you don't have to work all day, you can work 20 minutes, half hour at a time, or you have the ability to change batteries out. The electric stuff is coming right along, and that's going to be the latest and greatest thing very shortly.
One of my friends bought an AI lawnmower.
Yeah.
They have, I mean, it just is amazing, the new equipment and things that are coming out.
Right.
But
yeah, I was surprised. I went down. Didn't go last year. I went the year before, and the electric equipment that's coming out is really spectacular. Not cheap. It's expensive stuff right at the moment. But it does a good job.
Yeah.
But even with everything else we sell, technology is keeping up. We have from chainsaws that have electronic operated carburetors to keep them efficient, keep them keep them emissions controlled.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big thing about two-cycle products, is keeping them in a emission control. So you don't want them to burn too rich because you don't want them polluting. So we have little tiny computers in the chainsaws that we have to plug a laptop into to work on now. So in the old days, it was just a screwdriver and wrench, and you could fix anything. Now, the screwdriver, wrench, and the computer sitting beside you. And then all the way up through our regular tractors into our Kubota tractors, they all have computers now that operate the systems, and the travel control pedals, the operator controls, they're all electronic now. Makes it very smooth, very nice for the customer to operate. But it's all electronic, so you have to learn that. And we have two technicians that have delved into the electronic side of the tractors quite a bit, and they can plug you into a computer and tell you exactly what's going on. So, yeah, technology is coming along, and it's interesting.
Yeah. Nice. So what has been your biggest challenge, would you say, growing Toreku Tractor?
It's the people.
Mm-hmm.
The challenge is people. The machinery will do the same thing every time. If you do something to the machine and it breaks, it's going to break the same way. It's going to break, and you're going to fix it with the same parts. And if you unbolt this and bolt that back on, it's going to be the same. Mm. So the question now is getting somebody that's capable and understands what parts to bolt on, bolt off, what parts to fix, and coming up with enough people that are ready and keeping them motivated to do the job. That's been my challenge over the years. And when you have some lighter duty equipment that you don't want to spend a lot of money on, you need to have a technician that's you're not paying a lot for, to tell you the truth, and you get them going. And then as the equipment gets more and more expensive, you got to have more and more trained technicians. Evolve all those, keep a range of people working for you that can do the jobs and keep them growing. The people are the biggest challenge, and right at the moment I have a very good crew. Everybody is working smooth together, and we've been I think the last employee that we hired has probably been there 2 years now. So
nice.
We do have some summer help that comes and goes, but our core people, 2 years is the shortest one, and I've got one that's been with me like 21 years now. And
that's awesome.
Everybody else is in the 8 to 10 year range.
That's a testament to a great company. So congratulations.
We try real hard at it. And, and I shouldn't take all this credit. My wife Lisa is my partner, and she took on the business way back, when we got married, and she can sell you a tractor better than I can, actually. She's quite convincing when she speaks. But the two of us have run the business and worked through all these years.
Nice. Working with family has its ups and downs. I worked with my sister, so
we've been pretty lucky over the years. Lisa and I started out together, and we grew our family. And when that first one was born, he came to work, and he was in the office, in the rocking chair and everything. Yeah. And he grew up, and then my second one came along, and my daughter came along, and they worked with us. And right from being toddlers all the way up through, they could drive anything, they could do anything. And so now Mark, my oldest son, is in charge of the shop. He works with us every day, all day, and he's an integral part of keeping everything running. He's very smart. He knows all the equipment because he's been around it forever. So, and he's got his own place that he landscapes and farms and does all the other stuff. So he understands equipment just like I do. Mm-hmm. So that works out well. And then my younger son Wally, he's a full-time fireman over in Groton. It's kind of funny. My part-time thing was a fireman. I've been a fireman in Harvard for 40 years, and mm-hmm. we grew up with the fire department as well. So Mark wasn't real keen on the fire department, but Wally was big on the fire department. So Mark was keen on the equipment side of things. Wally was keen on the fire department. So he became a full-time fireman. He's a full-time fireman in Groton. But he comes in 2 days a week to work with us. And he's on the counter, does the parts. He can do anything in the shop, anything in the place that needs to be done. So the two of them work with us quite often. My daughter, she works up through the business and decided she wanted to go to school to do something different. And she became a school teacher. Nice. So she's a school teacher up in Ashburnham.
That's awesome.
And she's great at that. So and then like say my wife and I have been working side by side for 40 years now, and people say, how do you get along? I was like, well, we just we do our different things. We converse on things and get together when we need to, but for the most part, she does our thing, she does her things, I do mine, and at the end of the day, when we go home, we'll spend 10 or 15 minutes talking about business, and then that's it.
Nice. Yeah.
And we shut it off, and then we've got all our other interests that we do, and we go from there. So it's worked out good. I've actually had people come in. How can you stand working your wife 24/7? Well, I just do.
I mean, you married her because you love her.
I did, right? Yeah.
She's great. She's a great person. She's got great qualities. So
yes, she's awesome.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to work with Lisa all the time? So you've been an active chamber member for longer than I know.
Yes.
Why is the chamber important? What has been something that the chamber's done that maybe that has helped your business grow? Or
so the interesting thing was, I started with the chamber back in 1977, 78, somewhere in that range, and the reason was because I needed health insurance. And at the time, back in the 70s, you didn't get health insurance by yourself. You had to have a group. The easiest group to work with, or one of the groups that worked with that did well, was the Neshoba Chamber of Commerce. So it was actually the Air Chamber of Commerce back then. So I joined them, and I've been coming here ever since. But that was basically the start. So I needed help with that. And it's a group of people that, all have the same interests and get together. And I've really enjoyed Breakfast with the Boss. That's one of the programs I like to come to. And you get to talk to lots of other people. And what I've found over the years is you just don't walk in and start handing out business cards. So you come in every once in a while and somebody's all excited and they're just handing business cards out. It's kind of not about that. You show up, you talk to this person, you talk to that person, you make a relationship. Yeah. You learn who they are and what they are and what they've got going on, and then all that falls together. But it takes time. It takes years to develop the relationship with all these people that you meet at these events, and that's where the chamber has been great. Business after hours, and we go and have a social event with a business someplace has really been fun to go to, and again, visit with all the different people.
Well, thank you so much for your membership.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful. So before we close, you are located at Littleton Road.
Yep.
4 Littleton Road in Air.
Yep.
Right at the Rotary.
Right at the Rotary Circle.
Website?
Toreku.com. Real simple. Email is also real simple. Tony@toreku.com.
Okay.
So that's.
You buy. People can come in and buy, but they can also come in and rent.
Oh yeah. We do a full line of rentals. So any piece of equipment that we carry, you can rent as well. So you can rent, chainsaws, trimmers, blowers. We have big leaf blowers, big leaf vacuums for the fall coming up. We have snow equipment. We have the tractors to rent. So you can, if you want to destroy a yard in a day, you can come in and rent a piece of equipment and make a mess and hopefully clean it up by the time you're done. Funny story I've had there. We've delivered a lot of rental equipment out the door, and every once in a while you go someplace and the yard is beautiful when they're done. You're like, wow, okay, did a nice job. You load the equipment up and away you go. And I came into this person's yard one day, and it was atrocious. They had done an absolutely terrible job. The place was a mess. I'm like, oh, am I in trouble now? So I knocked on the door and I said, I'm here to pick up. Look at what I got done. This is awesome. This is great. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. But he was doing it with a wheelbarrow.
Oh.
And he couldn't have accomplished anywhere near what he did with a wheelbarrow.
Right.
Even though it was still a big mess, he was just so happy with what he got accomplished. So no matter what I send somebody out, they always have a good time and they always have fun.
Right.
And I do remember one other time going to somebody's yard that came out terrible, and they said, we tried, and this. I said, can I have an hour? And they said, sure. I jumped on the piece of equipment, and within an hour, I had it all cleaned up and came out looking really, really good.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. That's wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tony, for joining us.
Very good.
And telling us all about Toreku Tractor and I mean, tractors and more, it really should be at this point.
It's tractors and equipment. Yeah, it's whatever you need to work in your yard. If you want to work in your yard, I've got the equippment to do it with them.
You've got the equipment, and you've got the people with the know.
Yep.
With the skills and they know the equipment, and they know firsthand about what needs to be done.
Yeah.
So
one last thing, Kubota's new tagline that they're going to use is "Because you can." And the reason "because you can" is the saying they're going to use is because if you want to do something, you can do it.
Yeah.
No matter what piece of equipment you buy in my shop, you can accomplish the job. So because you can.
That's great. Yeah. I love it.
It's
because
great.
you can.
Yep.
So thank you for joining us. Thank you for sharing your story. And for those that haven't yet, take a drive over to 4 Littleton Road in Air
Yeah.
and check out all the equipment and meet with Tony and his team. I want to also say a very special thanks to AJ from Clear Signal Productions for doing our podcast recording and editing and all the magic behind the camera. So thank you so much, AJ. We're so happy that we started this new project with you. If anybody is interested in learning more about the Chamber, I'm happy to chat. So reach out to me at nbcoc.com and have a wonderful day.